Did you know that you can use AI as your very own personal assistant when it comes to the demographics of your customers and the various different stakeholders of your business? You can ask it to identify those stakeholders, why they are interested in your business, how to treat them, how to appease them if there's ever a conflict between different stakeholders, and also what sorts of information they will want from your organization as well. So if that's something that you often struggle with or something that you perhaps don't know enough about, then please take a look at this video as we're going to show you how you can use AI to do that for you.
In this video segment, I'm going to show you how you can use AI to identify the stakeholders of your business and your business operations and detail exactly why they are interested in your business and how you should deal with them, what sort of information they require, what sort of information they're going to want from your annual reports, and how you can build and develop that relationship as a stakeholder. Because as an organization, as a small business owner or a manager within a company, you're going to have lots of stakeholders of your business, and some of them you may have never even considered. And of course, the best way you can run a business is to run it in the best interest of all the different stakeholders as much as possible. And certain stakeholders are going to need different things. They're going to want different things from you. They're going to need different information. They're going to be needed to be treated in different ways. And it's very important that you identify that. And in the past, you may have needed to have done a lot of research into your stakeholders and to who they are and what they mean. And you might even need to employ people who are specialists in this area to identify your business operations as a whole and how it impacts the different stakeholders. But now you can use AI to do that. So I've got a similar prompt here that I've used it in previous sections, analyzing it in terms of a small accounting firm. So saying I'm a small accounting business serving small businesses, individuals, the software that we use, the regulatory frameworks we comply with, etc. So I'm now going to ask it, who are the stakeholders of my organization? And this is very important when you're thinking about your operations, when you're thinking about who reports are going to be for, and you're also thinking about how you're going to grow your business as well. Because the more information you can find out about the key stakeholders of your business, the more you can tailor your business to those key stakeholders and grow your business. So we'll ask it to analyze that, and it's going to break down the key types of stakeholders. So for example, we've got the internal stakeholders here. So this is individuals directly involved with it. So we've got us as the owner or any co-owners. We've got the employees of the organization, the various different external stakeholders, such as our clients, the regulatory bodies, the professional accounting organizations, software providers, our lenders, our suppliers, etc. It also goes into further detail about broader stakeholders. So ones that are not necessarily involved day to day with the organization, either internally or externally, but stakeholders that are nevertheless affected by our organizations. So you can see we've got competitors there, we've got the local community, we've got government authorities. What we can now do is we can ask it to categorize those stakeholders. So please categorize our stakeholders based on their influence and interest in us as a company. So some of you may be familiar with Mendelow's matrix, and if you weren't familiar with it, that is a very, very important tool used to categorize stakeholders based on whether they have influence on your strategy and whether they are interested and powerful in terms of what you are doing as an organization. So as a small business, we have very important clients. We have very important employees. If we were a larger organization, employees may not be so influential, but as we're a small company of only 10 employees, if a few of those employees leave, that could really negatively influence our business. And then you can see your high influence, low interest, like the banks, the government, etc., as long as you're abiding by rules and regulations, etc., they're not going to mind too much what you're doing. So you don't need to basically keep them up to date on everything you're doing, but they will have a lot of power over your organization if tax rules change, if they call in loans, etc. And what we can then ask it to do is create a plan. So please advise me on how I can build relationships and strengthen them with my key stakeholders, and please provide information on what they will want from an annual report. So if we're building our annual reports, if we're building our business plans, what sort of information do our key stakeholders want from our organization? So how do we build stronger relationships with our key clients, offer a more personalized service, proactively communicate with them, offer additional guidance, loyalty programs, incentives? What sorts of information do they want? They want information about trends, on small business information. They're relying on you to maybe provide information and detail about how upcoming changes in rules and laws and regulations are going to affect small businesses, how technology is going to improve the accounting, how you can help them and build their businesses in the future as well. With employees, how do we build our relationship with them, being clearer, being more transparent, recognizing them, offering a healthy work environment? They're going to want to know about how you're going to engage with them over the next year, how you're going to invest in training and employee benefits, what new changes to rules and regulations and technology are going to have on them, the impact it's going to have on them. And now it's even asked us, do we want to create this report? Do we want an employee development plan? So we might say yes. Well, we've identified employees and retaining employees as a key issue of our business. So please provide an outline of an employee retention and development plan. And you can see it's now building that for us, how we're going to achieve employee retention through various different means, such as offering more competitive salary, how we can foster a positive work environment, provide career opportunities, feedback, development plan as well for ongoing development, and how we can onboard new staff. Of course, new staff are going to get a very clear image of the organization, of how they feel about it in that first impression in the first 90 days or so. So a really good development plan, onboarding plan is going to be very crucial. How we can monitor things, how we can implement human resource policies, etc. And it's now even asking us further things, as in how developing a roadmap for each new employee, personal plans, etc. So again, a really good example of how AI can be an effective business partner, how you can use it to help provide insights in how you can perhaps identify your stakeholders, how you can work with your stakeholders, what sorts of information they're going to expect from you. And when we then zeroed in on employees and what employees would want from us as a business owner or as a manager, and how we can improve employee retention, ways in which we can build and develop employees so that they are more effective, more productive members of our team. So another great way of demonstrating how you can use AI as your own personal consultant to bounce ideas off of and to help generate plans and implement plans for you.